Okay, Tyler, can you hear me? You're good.
Yeah,
Okay,
you were
yeah,
good.
I don't know. That's just whatever. It is what it is. So, all right, let's get to we have two teams left. We'll do the Big Ten East the next episode. So we'll just get the last two teams in here, and then I do want to hear your thoughts on UCLA and USC coming to the Big Ten. So Purdue, man, team that always scares me because they just have Iowa's number. This might be the best team that Jeff Brom has had, which kind of scares me even more because we play at Purdue. So that, I mean, they could easily reach 10 wins. They did lose David Bell, Milton Wright, and Jackson. I forgot what his last name is. He's their other receiver. They did lose those three guys, but they still have a great set of receivers, including two Iowa guys, Tyrone Tracy, Charlie Jones, two capable guys. Their D line has a lot of depth. They have great linebackers, a really good secondary. So this team has pieces to have a really good season. Their over under set at 7.5, which I think it's easy over. Because I think right now I have them going 9-3, maybe 8-4, but for sure over.
I'm the same way. I think they're a really good team. I think offensively, they're just as good as they were last year, if not better. Um, I think now that I think it's pretty well established that it's Aiden O'Connell as the main QB running the
Yeah,
show.
he's a
They used to
stud.
kind of do that dual quarterback system, but he's by far taken over the reins, and I think their schedule lays out really, really good for them to potentially go 9-3. I haven't gone 9-3. I wouldn't shock me if they go 10-2.
Well, they start the year at home against Penn State, which is a huge game, but they're at home,
Right.
and if they can win that game, they'll for sure start 4-0. Then they play at Minnesota, then at Maryland, at home against Nebraska, at Wisconsin. They avoid Ohio State, Michigan, and Michigan State. I mean, come on, that's awesome
It's
for them,
Yep. And that's a
So
year they got to take advantage of it, and I think they could.
exactly. So they're going to be a tough team. For right now, I have them beating us. I mean, until we see
Oh,
Iowa
same.
actually beat them, I just can't. I can't give us that win.
I remember
So
I remember us talking about that last year after we lost to them, and we're like
yep,
we're both not gonna pick us to win that game until we see that they actually do it. So
yeah.
I'm
It's like,
gonna maybe do a little reverse psychology for Iowa, but
well, it
hope
worked last year against Northwestern because I remember us. I didn't pick Iowa to beat Northwestern because I was like, I can't pick them until we actually beat them. We did. So maybe
right.
I could start picking them again.
Yeah,
All right, and the last team is Wisconsin. New offensive coordinator this year after their offense was just brutal last year. Because why wouldn't they get a new offensive coordinator like Iowa, who was really good on offense? Keep their offensive coordinator and actually promoted him to a quarterbacks coach. So, uh, but no, they got a new offensive coordinator. For Graham Mertz, who is pretty kind of like a Petrus, very below average. Um, the challenge will still obviously be in the passing game though, because they only have one receiver that has caught more than 3 career passes. Which, put that in perspective, like Iowa, yes, we struggle in the passing game, but we at least are bringing back guys like Sam Laporta. We're bringing back guys like Keegan Johnson, Arlen Bruce, Nico Reganey. Where, yeah, I mean, they're all kind of unproven because I mean two of them only been in our system for a year, but at least they've caught passes and they have a lot of game experience. So like they're gonna be coming out with like nothing. They do have a really good set of running backs. Braylon Allen, obviously a stud last year as a freshman, so they're gonna be really good. They lost a lot of guys on defense. They only have 3 returning defensive guys, but kind of like Iowa, you lose guys, but it's just the system that you're in. It doesn't matter. They're gonna, get other guys to come in and they'll be fine defensively. They might not be as good. I mean, their defense was really good last year.
they're
I
insane.
remember like,
Statistically, they're like number one or
yeah, they were
something.
like right up there with Georgia. And so they lost a lot of guys, but they did get some transfers. And like I said, the system that they're in, it just doesn't matter. They'll reload and they'll be fine. So right now, well, I guess what are your thoughts on Wisconsin?
I think they're going to be a really good team.
Yeah.
I think Graham Mertz will be his third year. Obviously, when he came in as a freshman, I mean, he started off amazing, and
And then it
that
just
first
went.
game, I think he lit it up with like 5 touchdowns. Obviously, got hurt,
I
but
remember that. Yeah.
last year I think offensively he didn't play well. But you're right, they got a new offensive coordinator. The thing you can, like you said, Their defense is something that you can always trust is going to be very good. And they have a really great defensive coordinator. And then offensive line is going to be really good. They're just going to be a tough team to beat. And their schedule, again, looking at it, obviously two tough games at Ohio State and Michigan State, but they could very well, win a lot of games. So I have them going over, actually.
Well, let's see what I have here. I need to go. I have them going over as well. Because they're over under set 8.5. So yeah, their crossovers, at Ohio State, at Michigan State, it's gonna be tough. But they have some, their home game. I mean, and then at Iowa is gonna be tough.
Mm-hmm.
And that one right now, I have us winning, but once again, they have our numbers, so I don't know why I have us winning that. I feel, I guess maybe being at home. I don't know. I should put that as a loss for Iowa until we beat them. But
that's where I'm at with it. Kind of like Purdue.
Yep.
I just can't.
I
don't want to. Yeah, it's tough.
So, yeah. So we'll do the Big Ten East the next go around, just short and sweet with the Big Ten East. We're almost running out of time here, so we'll talk. I just want to hear your thoughts quick before we wrap this up on the news that broke out. Would have been 2 weeks ago already, 3 weeks ago. USC, UCLA joining the Big Ten. Very surprising. I was on a plane. I landed. I literally was just on Twitter. There was this report, and then not even 5 hours later, it was official that they were joining. Both of them.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of out of the blue. I didn't even really hear of that even as a potential option for the Big Ten. When you look back at it, it's not overly surprising when you look at the move from Oklahoma and Texas prior to that going to the SEC. You heard a lot of talk, other dominoes might fall. I thought it was more just going to be for the SEC. Obviously going to be really good for the Big Ten, USC, UCLA, big brands.
A lot of money.
A lot of money generated, even more so. And, that's awesome for all the schools in the Big Ten. I love it.
And you have the big markets now. You have LA market, you have the Chicago market, you have the New York market and DC market. So yeah, I think last year Big Ten paid out $47 million. It's gonna be way up there once USC, UCLA joins, and then who knows who else will join. Will Notre Dame join? I don't know. I did see that there's reporting that they might sign a deal where they're gonna be making $75 million from NBC a year. So it's I could see them just staying independent. Who knows though? If that's the case,
I feel like eventually the money's going to be too good for them to pass up, but they might. Yeah.
God, who was I listening to? Someone made a good point. My boy John Middlecoff. He actually
your boy.
he thinks if you're gonna bring a couple more teams in, he thinks it should be Oregon, Washington, Notre Dame, and then Stanford. And the reason why I got Stanford in there is because with the Big Ten, they do pride themselves, academics. You have to have a certain, they don't just let any team into the Big Ten. So Stanford, that would be great there. Plus, you can keep USC, Stanford, Notre Dame, Stanford, right? Those are big rival games for each other. And so, and then also with the division wise, okay, so you're up to 20 teams now. And you can now have the West Division, which would be USC, UCLA, Stanford, Oregon, Washington. Then you have the Midwest, which would be Wisconsin, Iowa, Minnesota, Nebraska, and maybe Illinois. I don't know. And so you would have all those protected, rivals, right? And so I thought that wouldn't be bad. 20 teams, 5 teams in each division. And then, you play a 10 conference game. So you'd play all your teams in your division, and then you'd play crossovers. So you'd play 2 teams from each division. So we wouldn't play USC every year. You'd play them maybe once every couple of years or whatever. So I don't know. I think it would be cool. I'm wondering how they're going to kind of play this all out. And we'll, on future episodes, it'd be kind of fun to kind of lay out for right now. Cause right now it is only 16 teams, how they're going to do that. Are there going to be divisions? I don't think there will be. How are they gonna, are we gonna go up to 10 conference game schedule? I mean, what are we gonna do? So, it's gonna be fun topics moving forward because it's gonna be interesting. But I love it. I mean, I know a lot of people hate it. I love it because I think it's gonna be sweet driving to Iowa City some October day or November day and we're going to see USC. Like you just don't
Yeah.
experience that. I mean, you have the team that you always face, and that's it. And so being able to
There's
host USC or UCLA or down the road Notre Dame or Oregon, I mean, hell, I mean that's fun. And then in
yeah,
basketball, I think that's sweet. So I love it. I love the move. I know, like I said, I know a lot of people don't. It is just because it's people don't
bigger
like
and better
change.
games.
Yeah.
Well, it's
Yep.
bigger and better games. You want to see that. I mean, college
Exactly.
football has that problem right now where if you're not cheering for your own team, sometimes, that's like the NFL, what we talk about. The NFL, there's always going to be great games on
There's.
every week.
Yep.
Sometimes with college football, there's not enough big games, and I think this will help.
Exactly. 100%. Like you're gonna have Ohio State USC playing. You're gonna. I mean, it's gonna be. It's just gonna be fun. And I hope everything goes well. And like I said, we'll talk about that more. So that is it for this episode. It's been a blast to be back on this. I can't wait for the
Yeah.
next one. We'll record again next week. Just kind of like I said, by next week we're even closer to Iowa football. So I think we're coming up now on I think 6 weeks. So by next week, we'll be coming up on almost 5 weeks. So it is going to be here before you know it. Tyler, have a good night, man. I will talk to you
Yeah.
later. Thank you all for listening. Please subscribe, leave a review, do all that. Very greatly appreciate it. And go Hawks.